Today we're going to be unpacking how toxic empathy leads us to fast food spirituality. So grab your craft of choice or whatever you've been procrastinating and let's get to it. Hi my loves, welcome back. And if you are new here, then hey, my name is Shae and I'm just here to share my perspective with you all to help you make sense of yours. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing and helping us reach our 7K goal. We can do it, y'all. I've honestly been feeling kind of out of it, so I thought it'd be nice to just create without expectation today. So I'm not really sure what this little art piece that I'm gonna eventually start working on would turn out to be, but yeah, we're just gonna be on this journey together. Like, I don't know, I've just been working really hard on releasing the expectations that I have for myself and the expectations that I have out of other people as well. And I've just been unpacking what those expectations are, but also how I show up for the things that I need and the blockages that I have, and making sure that those needs are met. And for me, it just really brought up this whole topic of toxic empathy, which for me means it's similar to enabling, but toxic empathy is when you empathize with someone's situation, but you make excuses for their chosen reality because of that understanding. And I don't know if that makes sense, but for me that was just such a aha moment, because I've really been in this hole for a while that I've been trying to get out of, where it's like I excuse behavior so much that I stop trusting my own self, and so I don't trust my own guidance and my own opinions. So I'm constantly looking outwards. I've spent so much money on tarot readings, like, oh my goodness, y'all, because I wasn't showing up for myself in the situations that mattered the most. I didn't trust myself to give me that guidance when needed. So yeah, I spent so much money on tarot readings, and it really just made my trust with myself even worse. It kind of like becomes this little codependent thing that you have with readings and watching these videos online, where they're like, oh, if you're a Taurus, this message is for you, even though the shit is generalized as fuck. I don't know, I just feel like it brought me even further from myself, and it's just been a while of me trying to climb out of that hole, and I finally feel like I'm like seeing the light. And this whole topic around toxic empathy has just been like a aha moment for me. Like, I feel like a great example of toxic empathy that I wanted to add is the questionable empathy that we extend to Finn the human. I mean, this dude is literally a cannibal, y'all, and no one questions it because his dad lost him at sea. But like, my goodness, what amount of trauma excuses cannibalism? I don't know. I just thought I'd leave that there, but you know. As y'all all know, I've been processing and healing from my first queer heartbreak. And I don't know, I feel like it's just been bringing up a lot around my different behavior patterns, and my first instinct being to excuse behavior because I understand the root of it. And this even ties into the last video that I posted, where I was talking about how I would have these big emotional outbursts because I felt like the people around me wasn't loving me properly. It's like I feel like I was really hard on myself, and like making sure that I understood how I affected the people around me, but I didn't do a good job of validating my feelings and, you know, making room for the fact that even though I am understanding, even though I am empathetic to how you may feel, that doesn't excuse the behavior, that doesn't excuse the pain, it doesn't excuse the hurt that you have caused me. And it's something that I really struggle with. I'm just honestly realizing it. Like, even within myself, I feel like I create excuses for my toxic behaviors, like with the whole avoidant thing. Like, I will be like, hey, well, I just never really learned how to communicate, or I never really learned how to be in loving mutual relationships. But that doesn't excuse how I feel when I'm feeling so lonely because I'm being a complete shut-in and like just completely Xing the world out. I'm hurting myself by continuing these patterns, but because I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm creating excuses for it to allow myself to stay in this loop. And I do this outside of myself as well, especially if you open up to me about your traumas and stuff. Like, I'm automatically gonna start making connections for you and being like, oh, so okay, this is why you cursed me out the other night for no fucking reason. But when I do that, it doesn't give me room to really feel that pain and process it. It's like someone digging a hole for you. They push you inside, and every excuse that you make for them is just adding a layer of dirt into that hole until finally you're stuck buried there with that pain and emotions that you were never able to process because you've moved on from the situation. You understand why things happened the way that it did. And really all this does is build up resentment within yourself, towards yourself and towards the outside world as well, because it's like, who's ever gonna pay attention to my needs? Like, who's ever gonna hear me? I'm literally constantly choosing the comfort of other people over me being felt and me being heard, and it's not fair, and it builds up resentment. And I feel like this just leads to confusion with yourself. So this built up resentment creates a fog of confusion with yourself, because it's kind of like gaslighting yourself. And we'll be talking about gaslighting and invalidating self in next week's video, so stay tuned for that. But it's like gaslighting yourself into believing that, you know, you're in a healthy and mutual situation, but you're also still feeling that suppressed part of you that was never able to be felt and properly processed so that you can, you know, move better. It creates this fog and confusion because it's like, okay, how do I navigate this situation where on one end, I'm feeling justified in my empathy, and on the other end, I'm resenting this person or situation because of that same empathy. And because it would take work to actually sit down with yourself and build that trust up again, and social media is way quicker, where you can literally just open TikTok and there's already somebody trying to give you a message. There's already somebody telling you that this is exactly for you. God brought you here. You are supposed to be here. You start taking in this fast food spirituality as truth because it gives you some sort of relief and some sort of validation to some part of you, even though you probably don't even understand how to apply the wisdom that they are giving to you in the first place. Like, I think we forget that getting a tarot reading is like going to the doctor for an energy checkup. You need to find a primary reader and build that rapport with them where they can see where you've gotten better or where you've gotten worse, instead of just going to freaking random general readings and using it as a sign. Like, you don't need an excuse or permission to do what you want. I feel like we look at these videos because we're just trying to get confirmation that what we want to do isn't insane, it isn't crazy. But if you're not really working with someone one-on-one, how can you really get down to the root of your problem? How are you truly getting a real reflection of you and not just the collective? Like, how are you expecting this holy level of clarity when you're moving from ego? It really makes us disconnect from the true wisdom of the present moment. The true magic of spirituality happens in the present moment. Like, holy texts are meant to point us in the right direction, but you still have to take that hike. Think of different texts and practices as a map. We read it, we see the way, we learn the directions by heart, but we never start the journey because we're too concerned with knowing the map first. And then finally, at the age of XYZ, we look up and realize we haven't even taken the first step yet. I feel like it's so easy to get stuck in this because it's just what we've been taught, you know, it's the norm. But I'm always going to be here to encourage you to break out of the norms, to question the norms, not even just out in society, but within yourself as well. What is normal for you right now doesn't have to be your norm for the rest of your life. The I am that you are right now is not the I am that you're going to be in 20 years. Like, remember that you still have so much room for growth. Remember that you just this isn't it, bro. This isn't it. You have not reached your final form yet. You still have so much learning and growing and discovering to do about yourself and about the world. And I don't know, just remain flexible to change and just not being stuck in ways that don't serve us just because it's comfortable. And I'm not trying to talk down on collective readings as a whole. Like, at the end of the day, it's the individual's job to take whatever inspiration they need and leave the rest. But I just hope for us all that we're able to start asking ourselves, what do you need in this present moment to be well? Not how can I distract myself from this discomfort. I told y'all that I've been like reading on Buddhism more, and something that one of y'all said to me recently that's really stuck with me is it's not about completely shedding your needs and desires and your ego, because we need the ego to experience this reality, but it's supposed to be experienced through the perceiver, nurturing and healing the ego with life's wisdom so that you can move accordingly. You know, it's like we come here as a fresh and separate soul, and in order to survive, we put on more and more of the planet's ego. And if left at its base form, it will always take over our minds, causing us to overthink and underbehave. But through the communing with soul, the sitting with soul, it becomes easeful to stay balanced. There's honestly so much more we can get into with spirituality, like savior complex, generational curses, the healing journey, yada yada yada, but we'll probably talk about that in a future video if y'all will like. For now, I hope your heart remains strong and that you feel valid in what emotions come up for you and what you expect out of people in life. To be honest, like, there's no need to settle, my love. All has been promised. All has been promised. But yeah, let me know if y'all like my little sad moon man. Also check out the description if you like to join our Discord, or if you have any questions that you would like to ask me and need perspective on, you can submit and ask Shae, as well as the audio version is in the description as well. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, let me know if you related or resonated with anything that I spoke on today. Thank you for watching to the end. Remember to put an orange heart, you know what I'm saying, my orange heart gang. Yeah, orange heart gang. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.